Hello, today I want to show you a really cool trap that actually starts similar like one trap I showed before. So it starts with Jobava London, so these are the opening moves. And mainly it is after knight c6. Now this is already kind of an inaccuracy, but it's played a lot. And what we play here, and this is also still in another video of mine, is this move knight b5. Now we're just attacking this pawn. And we're just threatening to fork here and win the rook. And you know, they can try to move the rook to prevent things, but yeah, that just leads to taking with the bishop. So a different kind of fork. And even if he would take with the knight here, the king is forced to move, or he needs to give up his queen. But either way, it's really bad. So they need to defend against this threat. Now, because the knight is already here, they can't move it there, because that's usually one of the ways to defend that square. The bishop can't defend because this pawn is still here, so the only way they can defend is by playing e5, just blocking off this diagonal. Now I showed you in another video that after we take here, if the knight moves here, we actually have this brilliant move, and after they take the queen, we just have this fork winning the queen back and we're comfortably winning. But today I'm going to show you that taking with the bishop is actually really vicious as well, and probably, or not probably, statistics also show this, more likely for opponents to fall into our traps. And the main idea here is, okay, we've taken a pawn and we're now still threatening this. So you might think, okay, what has black really accomplished? Well, two things. For instance, they can block with the bishop, but this is just bad because we can take with the knight, and yeah, they have to take with the pawn. After we take here, they just have doubled pawns, and we're just a pawn up. We're gonna defend on d4, and we're fine. So really, why black plays this is because they can now take our bishop. It's a really strong bishop, and the threat is now permanently gone for the fork here. But after we take, we have something similar to the other trap I showed you, because if the knight moves here, we still have this move, just taking the pawn, because after queen takes, we have this fork, and king moves somewhere, we take the queen, and we're up 2 pawns heading into the endgame. So yeah, this is completely winning. And that is what black has to watch out for, and already black falls for this a lot. In this variation, it also works if the knight moves somewhere here. Notice that if we go back, in this variation, black could actually move the knight here, attacking our bishop. So we don't have time for something like this, because after all this, they can win our bishop, and it's probably fine. Let's see, I think I did something wrong here. What does the engine say after this? Yeah, they can just take the bishop immediately, because, yeah, they've just won a piece, so that's better. But when we've taken with the bishop here and go into all this, if they go here, we can just take that pawn, because they're not attacking anything. We've just traded our bishop for the knight already, and we can just go for this and still be up 2 pawns, or 3 pawns in this case, in the endgame. That's also another important thing to note. We're up 3 pawns in that variation. So that's completely winning as well. So what black actually has to do after this is drop the knight back. But you're gonna say, okay, this pawn is still hanging, so we're gonna take it. And this is still the best move. But it looks like that black has just trapped us, because they can now fork our knight and queen, which is actually the best move, but it doesn't really work. The reason being that we now have this knight check. Notice our queen and pawn are defending the knight, and they don't have time to take our queen because they are in check. Now, if they take with the bishop, we're just gonna take with the queen, and this queen is really annoying for them. It prevents them from castling, and yeah, it's just not what they want to see. So what a lot of players do, and I've actually had this in a game just yesterday, they're like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to give up my bishop. I'm gonna move my king here. But actually, that just leads to the immediate checkmate. So that's also a nice thing to have in this opening. Some players just fall for this. You're not really playing for this, but it's always nice if it happens. But yeah, best black can do is take this, even though they can't castle here. And the best continuation, in my opinion, almost no one finds this, is to go for this queen check, basically winning back one of the pawns. Notice we're up 2 pawns, so it's not a problem we're gonna lose one. And here you have a lot of things to do. You can drop the queen back. This is actually what the engine prefers. And engine actually says taking here is best, and we can just long castle and play this position. Again, we're just a pawn up, so this is completely winning, or completely winning. It's fine for us. We still have a lot of work to do, but yeah, this is definitely we come out of the opening better. What I can also do is take here, but we don't really mind giving our losing our castling rights, because yeah, we're heading into the end game and they're just gonna take here. And we're just 2 moves away from getting our king to safety if we want. Engine says even e4 can still be played here, because yeah, he can't really attack our king anytime soon. Like, he can go for some checks, but that doesn't really work. Also, it can be taken. So going back. If you don't like all that, what you can also do is play c3. Now, according to the engine, this is a little worse, but still perfectly playable. They can take here. And again, here you have a lot of choices. You can just take the queen and play this position. In this position, you haven't lost castling rights, although, like I said, it's the end game, so it doesn't really matter. And if you want to keep queens on the board, just to make it complicated, you can play something like this, still preventing them from castling, although they can play c5 and pretty much castle next move. This pawn is arguably a little bit weak, although it's defended by 2 pieces at the moment, and they can probably defend it later with b6. But yeah, a lot of things to choose here, but in all the variations you're a pawn up. And like I said, in my opinion, people often don't really find this move. They're like, okay, I need to somehow move my pieces to be able to castle. I can't move my knight because then I'm definitely not castling. And this is just really bad for black. So what I see a lot is people playing like something like this, and they're hanging a pawn, and yeah, it's usually getting really bad for black here. But yeah, like I said, even if they go for the most critical variation, you're just up a pawn. So yeah, that's completely winning. So I hope you can use this in your own games, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.